the coursework. When I came here, the coursework was so difficult and challenging for me. It was one coursework was, you can say, like equivalent to three coursework in back my home country. Because I had to devote, like, in each segment, like, for presentation you have, let's say, 10% marks, then you have like technical writing, then 20% marks, like that, like midterm exam, then exam. So it's not like you can prepare in just one exam and get, like, marks like back in our home country. Then also, like, sometimes getting, like, depressed, like, emotionally, like, like you will be drained. There will be ups and downs, like PhD is such a long journey, so I had like everything like that. There will be some relationship issues also. And I would say is like your self motivation. So if you have something like, dream to do big, then that keep you moving, always forward.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk. I am so excited to host my very own instructor, Dr. Abhishek Kumar. I must say, a very committed and passionate professor. He is originally from India. He moved into the US in 2015 to pursue a PhD program in the field of remote sensing at the University of Georgia, Department of Geography. He is currently a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He has presented in several national and international conferences and has also published more than 20 articles in good journals. I am super glad that today he will be sharing his insights and journey in academia on this platform. On this note, welcome, Abhishek.
Thank you so much, Amelia, having me on this platform and for such a lovely introduction. I'm very happy to be here and happy to share my experiences with you.
That's great. So to start with, could you tell us a little about your background coming from India and also when your interest in science began?
Yeah, so talking about my background, first of all, like, I come from a very small town in India. It's named Ranchi, which is in the state of Jharkhand. So I spent my, like, schooling days there, like first, you can say, like 18 years of life there. And then I moved to another state, which is Odisha, and stayed there for next 7 years doing my engineering and my master's. And then finally I moved to US, and this is my 7th year here. So basically I have a interdisciplinary background, so moving from engineering to geography, then now I'm in environmental and conservation department. So like I have an interdisciplinary background.
So let's move a little bit. Can you share with us some of the challenges you faced, in being an international student and studying outside your home?
Yeah, there are, like, you can imagine, like staying away from home, because I was staying away from home like after my schooling. So I did my engineering away from my hometown. I did my master's away from hometown, but there was no problem at all when I was in India, because I had the same food, like, talking to people, meeting with so many friends. So it was totally like kind of similar environment. I had not much challenges. So I don't had to cook, like, food. Everything was like, I just have to go to the canteen and eat the food. But once I moved here in the US, I had to struggle a lot, like, to what will be my breakfast, what will be my lunch, what will be my dinner. I had to think even for each meal, like, so it took me like almost 5 to 6 years to like find out what is the right breakfast for me. At least now I have a good breakfast, like consistent breakfast. So it was like, going and getting the food was difficult. And but somehow, like, I managed that over the years. And But the other things is like, it's kind of feeling like, you feel homesick, and like you need a friend whom you can talk in your own language. It's different, like, you connect with them really well. But here, like, all of my friends, like, whoever, like, I have the lab environment also, where all the people were from different countries, like, people from China, people from like Indonesia, people from Brazil, like different country people. So only language I could speak is English, which I was not good at it, but that helped me to improve my English actually, in
Yes.
that lab environment. So that was really helpful. And the other challenge I saw here is the coursework. When I came here, the coursework was so difficult and challenging for me. It was one coursework was, you can say, like equivalent to three coursework in back my home country, because I had to devote, like, in each segment, like, for presentation you have, let's say, 10% marks, then you have like technical writing, then 20% marks, like that, like midterm exam, then exam. So it's not like you can prepare in just one exam and get, like, marks like back in our home country. So I struggle a lot with my coursework also. But it was good, like, in research, coursework doesn't matter that much in future. Like, people see your how many publications you have, that matters a lot. Then also, like, sometimes getting, like, depressed, like, emotionally, like, like you will be drained. There will be ups and downs, like PhD is such a long journey, so I had like everything like that. There will be some relationship issues also, and you have to overcome those situations. And it's like, and COVID happened like in my final year, so that delayed my degree by 1 year again. Like, you
Oh,
can't do any field work. So there are so many challenges, like, I had to face throughout PhD journey. But finally I got the degree, so I'm happy.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but these are experiences of a lot of international students. Like other international students go through all of these challenges. And I am happy that even amidst all these challenges, you have persisted and you are doing awesome in your career and in your field of studies. What would you say have motivated you to keep pursuing your dreams?
Yeah, so I'm that kind of person who, like, talk to himself so much. So it's
Mm,
like throughout my journey from the beginning, and it's not like now, even when I was kid or like, started growing. So from that, it's continuing, like keep talking to myself in, like, a quiet environment. Whenever
mm,
I feel like, okay, something is going bad, I will go alone and talk to myself and try to self motivate myself, that kind of thing. But during my journey, what happens, like, there are few people I have met, like, whom, let's say, I loved, like, very much. I'm in deep, like, deep connection with those people. And when you are connected with deeply with some people, and they say some sentences to you which, hurts you, or like, make you feel like, inspire you, like, I need to do something, this is not good, I
yeah.
don't deserve this sentence, for example, like that. So I had, like, some kind of, like, let's say, during my engineering, like, I had a friend, like, I was
Wow.
deeply connected with. And then I was talking, like, big, like, big things that time. I think I dream big since the beginning and talk, like, big things. And so one day, like, she says, like, you just talk, like, you talk so many things. And that pushed me too much. It was continuous throughout my master's, like,
Mm,
program. I was like, no, I had to work hard to make these words, like, reality. Let's have to, like,
wow.
don't only talk. So I think I became very silent during my entire master's. I was not talking to many people, like, very silent, just doing research and talking to my professor and only few friends. So they were like, they give me name scientist during that time, because they felt me like a scientist, like, who is just sitting quiet and just writing things and just being in his own world, all the time. So that time, like, I was like, okay, let me work hard and, like, just push myself. So I just keep working hard, and things started falling into the place. And also, like, if you have a people like my professor I had during my masters, he was so much like motivating me all the time. And somebody who is enjoying your own research with you, like your result, and he is being happy, like he's saying like, oh, you fall in love with your research, like that. I was keeping one, like, map in front of my computer and doing research. He is like coming to my lab and seeing me, like, and you're like, oh, you fell in love with research. Now I see a researcher in you. So you need that kind of motivation when you, like, feel a little bit depressed or like feel challenged. So but and that same happened during my PhD, when, let's say, like, not only in academic way my professor was like guiding me and motivating me, but also in personal life, or like, on the journey of life, he was giving me so much advice and guidance. And even during COVID time, when your funding is, you are running out of funding, it's you need that kind of support from your advisor, and he was there to support me. So it was like support from friends, support from professor, and most important, I would say, is like your self motivation. So if you have something like, dream to do big, then that keep you moving, always forward.
Yeah, I love every point you shared. I mean, talking to yourself is so important because you are the only one that understands the vision you have. So
Yes.
it's so important. And I'm glad you had professors who were so supportive, because at every stage in your career, it is important to have a support system. And if you have people who are in your immediate workplace supporting you, it's so good. To round this section up, we have talked a lot. And just to round up this section, I would like you to share any words you have for our viewers.
So there are, like, a few different things to sum up our conversation, I would say, like starting with, like, just like me, if you think the English is becoming your barrier, like you think like, oh, my English is not good, I might not be good fit for research, then I would say you can see me as an example. Like there is nothing, like English is not going to play a very significant role in your research journey. You will have, like, many people to support, like, and nowadays there are software to correct your English also. So that will be helpful there. So that's not going to be a barrier, in your research journey. And yeah, and definitely I would say finally is, like, utilize the resources you have got. And because here you have plenty of resources, especially if you are doing PhD at a good university. So try to utilize those resources and keep updating yourself. Try to become a better version of yourself every day, because just don't, like, get stuck at one position. If you have achieved something, then it's fine, just move on from that. Just don't keep staring at that, like, I have achieved this. Just try to move on from there and try to think something new, what you can do every day, and try to be a better version. So overall, like, in terms of material, there are like statement of purpose, then your CV, then 3 strong recommendation letter, then transcript, and if you have publication, so example of publication. So those 5 things are like, I would say, prepare really well when you are applying for PhD position. Then there is fourth option is, like, you can go for academic job, but not in research. Like, people choose like administrative role, for example, they become like financial consultant for like research center, for example, at like research university, but they are not utilizing, like not going to do, like, in their own research field. but they are choosing something different. And apart from that, like if you want to go for industrial job, there is another option. Like, if you want to make a lot of money, people make a lot of money, in US, especially if you have really good
Industry.
technical skills, and after coming from PhD, there are very high paying jobs. Like, you just need to support the product development team, like, apply your research skill and tell, like, those. So there are like research and development R&D position in
Okay.
industry.